Crawford's talked about a fight with Canelo in the future and wanting that fight sort of next. Do you think that's a realistic possibility for Crawford, and do you think he could actually get the win against Canelo?
If Terence wants to do it, he will do it. And if Terence wants to do it, he knows he can do it. I would actually be betting on Terence Crawford to win that fight.
Those are the words of Showtime Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter got his money on his buddy Terence Bud Crawford if he goes up to 168 to fight Canelo Alvarez. What do you guys think about what Shawn Porter had to say? He did an interview while he was over there, I believe, in Australia for the Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza fight. In that very same interview, he says he don't believe Charlo might come back to 154 or might fight at all. Charlo might retire, I don't know how true that is. There's too much money on the table when it comes to Charlo's situation, but he might just be throwing a jab at Charlo because he's mad. Charlo threw the fight. But that's what it looked like. Charlo threw the fight. But anyway, let me talk about what Shawn Porter had to say concerning the Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Shawn Porter knows boxing. He's been in the ring with Terence Crawford. This is a guy who beat Alexander Usyk in the amateurs. This is a guy who's never been stopped before. He's been dropped before, but never been stopped. He's been dropped by Broner in the 12th round. He's been dropped by Spence, I think, in the 10th or 11th round. And he got dropped by Terence Crawford twice in the 10th round. And I don't know if he got dropped once before that, but I know he got dropped twice in one round in the 10th round by Terence Crawford and stopped. He knows boxing. He said everything I wanted to do, Terence Crawford was prepared for it. Terence Crawford's going to do it, do what he wants to do over and over. He beat you at your game, and, well, he beat you at his game or whatever. I believe that's what he said it, but he says everything you want to do, he's ready for it. But before I get into this Canelo versus Terence Crawford thing, I just want to let people know this isn't a stretch. I think people, when they hear this fight, they think about wait. Man, Terence Crawford's not going to fight the same when he moves up to 168. I think boxing fans need to be educated on the sport of boxing because they're not thoroughly educated, When it comes to the sport of boxing, people got to realize just because a guy weighs in at 147 does not mean he fights at 147. This is the problem that's in a lot of people's head. That's not the case, bro. When a guy like Terence Crawford or Earl Spence weighs in at 147, on fight night, they're not competing at 147. Do you know the weigh-in is a day before the fight? They have a whole day to rehydrate. They can rehydrate 10 to 20, sometimes even bigger. So, on fight night, these dudes go from being 147, they could gain that weight that same day, for real. They go from being 147 on the day of the weigh-in to being in the 160s, 170s. So when I hear people talk boxing and say, man, he's going to have all this extra weight on him. He already has extra weight on him on fight night. He's not fighting it. He's just weighing in at 147. He's not fighting at 147, bro. He's not fighting at 147. These guys don't fight at 147. They weigh in at 147. I think this is what boxing fans needs to understand when it comes to guys moving up in weight. They get nervous, they get scared. Let me paint this picture for y'all. You guys gonna say a lot of stuff in the comment section is cool, but I'm still gonna paint this picture for y'all. Terence Crawford, Kell Brook. I always mention this, right? Kell Brook is one of the biggest welterweights you probably will ever see. Kell Brook was easily able to move up 2 weight classes to challenge a pound for pound GGG. Right? Kell Brook moved up to fight GGG. A pound for pound GGG. Do you know that Kell Brook won more rounds with GGG than he did Terence Crawford? Do y'all know that? Do boxing fans know that Kell Brook went more rounds with Gennady Golovkin in his prime than he did with Terence Crawford? He went even more rounds with Errol Spence. And that's right after getting his eye socket broke. After he loses to Errol Spence 11 rounds, he didn't lose after that. He even moved back up in weight and was knocking guys out. Then he came back to 147, and then he fought Bud. And Bud got him out of there in 4 rounds. 4 rounds. There's absolutely no welterweight on the planet that you can literally tell me the Kell Brook that fought Terence Crawford will get stopped by any welterweight in 4 rounds. A lot of you casuals are gonna say Jerron Boots Ennis. No, Jerron Ennis doesn't stop Kell Brook in 4 rounds. He just went 10 rounds with freaking what's the dude that beat Rashidi Ellis? Ramon Villa, bro. Kell Brook is levels above that guy. Like, boxing fans, y'all really be trolling when y'all like a fighter. Y'all can't be that crazy when it comes to the sport of boxing. You telling me Ramon Villa is on the level of a Kell Brook? Those guys are levels apart. Let's stop sugarcoating stuff here. They're levels apart. What about Kieran, who went 12 rounds with Jerron Ennis? He's nowhere near the fighter Kell Brook is. And what did Kell Brook do after he got stopped by Bud? Matter of fact, what did he say? And I'm going to tell you what he did. But what did he say after he got stopped by Bud? He said, nobody has ever done this to me before. Not GGG, not Errol Spence Jr., nobody. He didn't even know what happened. Kell Brook didn't even know what happened, bruh. He was so confused. You know why? Because he got hit with a punch he never saw coming. Crawford is a master of hitting you with punches you don't see coming. This is what boxing fans need to understand when they talk about boxing. And what did Kell Brook do after the Terence Crawford fight? He then went on to fight American. And what did he do to American? Stop American sooner than Canelo Alvarez. It took Canelo 7 rounds. It took Crawford 6 rounds. And it took Kell Brook 6 rounds. I agree with Shawn Porter when he says he believed Terence Crawford beats Canelo. And he's putting his money on Terence Crawford. So am I. Boxing fans, when they talk about this fight, they talk about size. But I'm going to tell you right now, on fight night, the size won't matter. Kell Brook looked Terence Crawford dead in his eye and told him, I'm going to be 180 on fight night. What did Terence Crawford say? It's not going to matter. Kell Brook was probably 180 when he fought Terence Crawford. And he got stopped sooner than Gennady Golovkin, he got stopped sooner than what Gennady Golovkin did to him, and sooner than what Errol Spence did to him. What that tells y'all, stop banking on size. Y'all was saying the same thing for Errol Spence and Terence. Errol Spence is just too big for Terence Crawford, even though these guys were fighting at the same weight class. I mean, it's true when people say casual fans run the sport of boxing. I see that every day. Because some of the stuff y'all say, it's ridiculous. But Terence Crawford don't fight at 147. He just weighs in at 147. So fighting at 168 is Terence Crawford pretty much fighting at 147. He just has to stay around that weight to maintain his power. He don't need to go above 168 because that's what he fights at already when he weighs in at 147. It's your boy, Boxing Facts Over Fiction, and I'm out.